Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pastana, and we're here today with special guest, Whitney Miller, who's here to share with us real ingredients, real cookies. What happens when a MasterChef winner decides that using real, wholesome ingredients can actually redefine what a cookie means? Well, today's guest and owner of Whitney's Cookies is here to share with us just that. In 2010, at just 22 years old, Whitney Miller was declared the winner of MasterChef, the hit reality cooking show hosted by Gordon Ramsay. Since winning the show, she has traveled the globe, cooking in the world's most exclusive kitchens and appearing alongside celebrity chefs such as Guy Fieri, Curtis Stone, and many more. Whitney's celebrity clientele has included Chip and Joanna Gaines, Willie Robertson, Rascal Flatts, and many more. And notable names like Jessica Simpson and Reese Witherspoon have become some of Whitney's Cookies' best customers. So welcome to the show, Whitney Miller.
Thank you so much.
My goodness, what an honor it is to have you here and just to talk about your journey. Winning the MasterChef at 22 must have been such a defining moment. How did that experience shape the way you approach food and business today?
It was an amazing experience and one that I am so glad that I was able to do at a young age because it definitely taught me resilience and to not let any challenge overtake me. And the things that I learned and I was able to do, especially when I reflect back during that time, I'm like, okay, I was able to get through that. And whatever I encounter today, and continue to encounter in my cookie business, I just think back and reflect back, and I'm like, okay, the Lord got me through that. He will get me through whatever I have to face today.
Well, that must have really been trial by fire. I mean, just being through that entire experience and what just a phenomenal job you've done. My goodness.
Oh, thank you. It is definitely, it's been a challenge, and I love a challenge. That was one thing that with MasterChef, I was an athlete in high school and played tennis my first years of college, and so I've always had this like athlete mentality, and I love challenges, and so it was just a perfect platform for me because I was able to do something I love, cook, but also give me that challenge each time, and it was not easy. Like there were so many challenges that I was doing something for the first time. I cooked a fried egg for the first time. I cooked a pork chop for the first time. It was just, things that challenged me. It made me stronger. It made me a better cook, a better person.
So, why don't you share with us the inspiration behind starting Whitney's Cookies?
So Whitney's Cookies came about because in my second cookbook, New Southern Table, I have a brownie cookie recipe in it. And I was not this like cookie aficionado. Like I really had like that cookie recipe that I'd really perfected. I'd served it at lots of events, a Dancing with the Star after party, Tim Tebow's Foundation as a dessert for the gala. Just like so many times when I prepared it and served it for people, they just raved over it. And a family friend said, Whitney, you should start a cookie company and I will ship these cookies to my clients because he had a business. And I thought, cookies? Like, of all the things that I could do, cookies? And so it really did not stick with me at first. And then I really just had to pray over it and just give it time to really just sink in that this could be an opportunity for me to start a business with a young family that was manageable. And also, people would always ask, Whitney, how can I try your food? And I could ship these cookies nationwide. And so that's really the start of Whitney's Cookies. And in the end of 2019 or summer 2019, I began the recipe development, which took months and months and months. And then that led into the end of 2019. I was doing like pop-ups. And I started shipping in January 2020, which was the start of, the crazy time. But I didn't know it, but it really ended up being such a great opportunity because I was able to be there for people. People were shipping cookies to their family members, to say, hey, I can't be with you, but here's a little treat to think about me. And I was able to have my business thrive during that time when other people were having to close theirs.
It just seems like the path unfolded for you on that. And one of the things that you have on your website, you talk about making cookies great again. So, what does that phrase truly represent to you beyond the ingredients themselves?
So I feel like there was just a time where, and it continues with some companies, where just ingredients don't matter. And I wanted to just get back to the true essence of cooking and like what I learned from my great grandmother and the real ingredients. And I was already really doing that with my cookie company from the beginning. The last little piece to me was I was using sprinkles that had, dyes in them. And I did not use anything with dyes in my own home with my children that I was serving. And so that was the last piece where I was like, okay, I've got to find a great alternative to sprinkles and find a natural dye free sprinkles. And so I really just felt like I needed to let people know when there's other businesses and companies that are just using a plethora of ingredients that you almost have to have like a doctorate to be able to understand what's in them. And so that was my make cookies great again and just let people know like when you eat my cookies, yes, you're indulging, but you don't have to feel bad about what's in them.
Oh, that's such a big important piece, especially eliminating, artificial dyes and flavors. Has that always been a non-negotiable for your brand?
Oh, very much so. I am very much into what goes into the cookies, and it just makes a huge difference. And not only just like, yes, I want to make sure those are real good ingredients, but also it's the flavor that those ingredients are providing to the actual dough of the cookie. When you bite into one of my cookies, I don't want you to just necessarily just taste like, oh, the chocolate chip cookie has chocolate chips, and that makes it a good cookie. The dough, the cookie itself is going to just blow you away with the flavor. And I'm all about flavor first. And you will taste that into each of my cookies.
So, how do real ingredients like pure vanilla extract and real butter change the flavor?
The flavor, the actual texture of the cookies, like if you use really good butter, you are going to get a really good product. If you use real pure vanilla extract, you are going to taste that. It is going to be an aroma in the cookies. It's going to be such a big flavor profile. And I use a lot of vanilla. There are even some really popular cookie companies that doesn't use vanilla at all. And I can't even imagine not using vanilla, but it's just such a good flavor profile, especially in something like our sprinkles cookie, where really that's a driving factor because it's like a sugar cookie and you need a lot of flavor, and the vanilla just really adds that. So it is very important to me, and I don't skip on the good stuff.
Oh, we like that. you Let's not skip on the good stuff. Well, and so when we look at like how your production is set up, can you share that with us?
Yes. So we have a kitchen that we're able to produce everything in. My mixer is probably as tall as I am. It's huge. We make big batches so that we can produce a lot. But you would be surprised because my kitchen is actually really small, and we are hoping to move into a bigger kitchen later within this new year. And I just love being able to produce, cookies that have so much character to them. Each month, I am doing 2 monthly specials, and this allows me to be creative because we have our staple flavors and we're making those, every day. But the monthly ones are when I can just kind of stretch my creativity. And so in January, we have the Nash cookie and also an inside out peanut butter cup. The Nash cookie is really special because I was getting ready to open up my second location in downtown Nashville. And we are going to debut this Nash cookie as a staple in that store. It is a brown butter base, which I don't do brown butter for any of the others because it takes small batches to make the brown butter. And it just really adds a special nuttiness and flavor to this cookie. And then we add in oats, chocolate chips, toasted coconut that adds like a little crunch throughout, but also just toasted coconut is just such amazing flavor profile as well. And then we add chopped pecans. And this cookie is super special and it is a favorite. I've featured it for the past probably 2 years. And this month we are debuting it, and people can support us through our rebuilding of the Nash store that we lost. And we are just devastated that we were not able to open this Nashville location. And it was because literally days away from opening and on Christmas evening, it flooded from sprinklers that were activated from a fire that was above our store location. And Christmas evening is definitely not the time that I thought I was going to be receiving a call like this or a call at all. It was so devastating, but people have just been coming in waves asking how they can support us. And so we just thought, this cookie we were going to launch in the store this month anyway. Why don't we just launch it now on our site? And by purchasing this cookie, every penny counts towards the rebuilding, because we're just relying on insurance, but we have lost so much.
I'm so sorry to hear that, but I love hearing how the community is coming together to support you because I mean, these cookies are amazing and I'm sure they want you to rebuild and be in that spot.
Yes. And it's just, so our current location that we have is in our current location is in downtown Franklin. And I wanted it to be our first launch store because, starting off in a business, and I did shipping and wholesale for several years, and then I knew I wanted a brick and mortar store, but I wanted to just do it in a smaller way. I wanted to test the waters out. And so downtown Franklin is just south of Nashville, and it was my hometown that we live. And so it was just such a sweet start. But, Nashville just holds so many more people and many opportunities. And so it was just such an excitement around this store opening. And it was just really hard for really the first few days, especially when I saw the store and the state it was in afterwards, and just to see how water damage can do so much. And so it's been several days of just like reflecting and just thinking, okay, well, what good can come from this? And one thing is just seeing the support that has come through. And also I'm like, okay, well, Lord, you knew that we just had a huge rush from Christmas, one of probably our busiest seasons. And I was just going to go straight from that into the store opening, which is going to be really busy. And now I just get a little bit of rest until we, are ready to open that store again. And so I am just like, okay, well, he knows better than I. So I'm just going to take this time of rest and just reflect and see, okay, how can we even make this store better than we even imagined?
Well, so many good things are coming to you. I could see it already. And I want to dive back into just the cookies that you're making. I mean, so many people associate cookies with nostalgia. So how, I mean, because you really do this kind of balance between with your recipes that it's got that homemade familiarity for folks, but it's got such a modern, elevated approach. Can you share that with us?
Yes. So I definitely take approaches into the flavors and some of the ingredients that people wouldn't necessarily think to use, and the ways in which I'm using. And with cookies, you really have to be careful because you don't want to add too much moisture. And so I have to think through that, and it makes my process um, look a little maybe more scientific. But I have to use like freeze dried fruits to make powders to infuse flavor, or think of ways to infuse fruit flavors, which I try in the summers to really think seasonally and okay, what kind of fruits can I feature? And so the approach is a chef forward mindset with every cookie. And I'm always trying new things and testing to see what I, can create next. And it's so fun. One of the cookies that's really popular is a s'mores cookie. And I'm always challenging myself, like, how can I make this better? And I made a homemade marshmallow cream. It was featured in October. And so the cookie is a s'mores flavor with a graham cracker cookie. And then we put chocolate chips in it. And then in the center, on the top, is the homemade marshmallow cream that's piped on top. And then we toast it. And if you came in store, we toasted it right in front of you. So you just get the whole experience. And we shipped it nationwide as well. And so every cookie that we featured in our store, you could also purchase to be shipped to your door.
Oh, I love that. And I've been looking at your cookies online, and I'm sure I'm going to be having many shipped this way. So,
And you know what? California is probably our second most popular location to ship cookies. It just always kind of floors me just to look to see, like, hey, where are these cookies going? And we literally are shipping nationwide. It's amazing just to see the growth that we've had, and just how we're continually able to reach just more people.
so I know that celebrity collaborations have been a real signature part of your brand. Do you have any kind of collaboration that's upcoming that you can share with us? I know this is kind of maybe a spoiler alert
Yeah.
that involves that.
So we have just loved being able to um, just reach out to some people that are just close to me that I've gotten to know throughout the years. And so we collaborated with Kimberly Schlattman, who actually was local to Franklin. And she wanted a portion of the proceeds from the cookie sales to go to a foundation that was near and dear to her. Her mom has Parkinson's disease. And so it went to the Michael J. Fox Foundation. And then I partnered with Sadie Robertson. And she really challenged me thinking about creating cookies and flavors. She wanted a sourdough cinnamon roll cookie. And I was like, sourdough in the cookie? Like, just thinking through, and again, a cookie, and like that was going to create moisture. It has been one of the most popular cookies. People have loved it. And we refeatured each of these this past year. And we'll continue to do kind of like a highlight of those again. But yes, we're really exploring what our next collaboration will be. We're even thinking through a particular influencer that has a lot of followers and just a lot of community around her. And there's just a lot of neat things to be able to explore. And again, the creativity, because I love to be challenged. And so with each of these collaborations, I ask the person to challenge me. Like, what is something that you love that's a dessert? What's, a childhood favorite dessert? And challenge me to make a cookie out of it. And so that's what we do. So look for a collaboration to occur later this year. Um, it is not something that I have on the radar at the moment, just because we're trying to push for this Nashville store, as well as open a bigger location for my kitchen. But it will happen.
Oh my goodness. Well, and it's interesting, as food trends come and go. I mean, how do you decide like what to embrace and what to intentionally leave out?
Yes, I love looking at food trends. It's just something that I want to make sure that my cookies are relevant. And again, the challenge of, oh, okay, if this is popular, can you make a cookie out of it? And I am looking at, okay, can you make a cookie with this ingredient, and will that show up flavor forward? Because there is a difference between if you're going to make a ice cream with a certain flavor and make a baked good, like a cookie with a certain flavor, because sometimes they just ingredients react differently and they don't show up very well. And so, for an example, I have a really popular monthly special, and it's a lemon crinkle cookie. So much lemon has to go into this cookie to actually taste like a vibrant lemon cookie, versus if it was just going to go into something like a ice cream, or if you're going to flavor a pudding or something, you could use less. So I am thinking through, I have to add zest because I can only add so much juice before this thing is just like too soupy of a mess. And I need a dough that's going to hold up to these big cookies. And so we think through the ingredient process and what we can use, how we can extract the most flavor.
I think that's such a big piece because it's so different. You're right, because when you look at ice cream, it's got the base, you add a little something to it, and it picks up that flavor. But cookies, I mean, basically you're creating all this within your kitchen.
Yes. And it is just, yeah, it's crazy how for example, when I was creating that recipe, it took so many times to get it right because the dough would taste like it was flavored enough. And then once it baked, it was like, where'd the flavor, where'd the flavor go? So I'm always tweaking, trying to make it perfect. And I really think about the end product and the customer and their experience. And I'm like, if they only try this one cookie. Like I want it to blow their socks off and I want it to be worth it because, in today's time, like if you're going to spend money on something, and for some people it's difficult to spend on a luxury item like a big cookie. And I want it to knock their socks off and be like, this is the best cookie I've ever had. Like that's my passion behind my product is that every single cookie will just be the best and that the experience will be the best this person's ever had.
I mean, looking back, what has surprised you the most about the transition from like television success to building this lasting popular brand?
I have been fortunate to have had so many people that either discovered MasterChef initially when I was on it, 15 years ago when I won the first season, to during COVID, they found the show. And so it's just fun because I'll have people that are like, oh, I just discovered MasterChef. And I'm like, that was, to me, like that was so long ago. For these other people who had maybe recently discovered it in the past few years, or even like, it could be today where they reach out and be like, I'm trying your cookies because I just discovered MasterChef. Like it's so fun to just relive that and to give these people who watched an experience from my kitchen just as if I had made it from the MasterChef kitchen.
Well, I'm telling you, my eyes are bigger than my stomach when I look at your website. I'm sure you get that all the time.
Yes, and I try like I am also the person behind the photos. I am preparing the cookies, styling them, photographing them. Um, Many business owners understand this. You wear many hats, and I wear many hats. I am the social media manager. Like I want my hand on as much as I can for as long as I can, and yeah, just the special touches that I want to have and to showcase. And I like to make it where you want to lick your screen.
I'm sure you get that. Well, and so I'd love to talk about your cookbooks for a moment because they reflect Southern hospitality and warmth. Can you share those with us?
My first cookbook was a part of winning for MasterChef, and Gordon Ramsay wrote the foreword for Modern Hospitality. It was such a challenging time, actually, because I had, up until that point, besides baking, never measured. I grew up learning how to cook like my great grandmother, and I would ask her how she would make something, and I had to watch. I had to watch every little handful of something that she put into her dishes because she didn't measure. And I just had this natural instinct of just like adding this, and then creating something special. So for the cookbook, you have to measure everything a pinch, like how much is that? Like a pinch could be different for everybody. And I wanted it to be where someone took my cookbook, they created a recipe, and it turned out just as if I had created it. So that was quite a challenge. And people who just are innately just familiar creating dishes for, their family, they know like that's challenging to actually have to measure everything. But for those who don't have a natural instinct in the kitchen, like my sisters, who would call me all the time with cooking questions, they need it to be very specific. And so that was just a fun challenge. Again, I talk about I love challenges. And it was just so much heart that went into it and thinking through what recipes would someone love to just open up a cookbook and easily be able to create, what would speak to them, is a comforting dish. And then also with Southern food, it sometimes gets a bad rap and, maybe the ingredients involved. So I try to take a modern take of there's not any really canned ingredients. It's fresh ingredients. It's using fresh ways of preparing it, not fried. So there's a lot of fun like alternatives to what you would think of as like a heavy Southern dish. I did a cauliflower mac and cheese where I roast the cauliflower so it gets a really good like texture on it. And people who don't even like cauliflower would be like, this is incredible. I would never have thought to do, cauliflower this way, but it was the certain techniques because cauliflower typically can be like mushy if prepared in a way like with water and boiling and all the things. But also thinking about the texture and the flavor and how can you create the most flavor out of vegetables is something that I really love. And I love that challenge. And roasting, that's just one tip I would give. Like if you don't really love vegetables, roast them because it just creates such a great texture. Roasting just takes the sugars, the natural sugars in vegetables and just like elevates them. So you're going to get the best tasting and texture vegetables. So there's my tip for you. And then in the second cookbook, New Southern Table, I had the opportunity to travel all over the world after winning MasterChef. And I thought, man, how can I share these experiences with people? So I thought, well, I'll just create recipes, but using ingredients that are familiar, Southern ingredients, and make a hot pot because I was able to enjoy hot pot on many occasions while in China. And it was so comforting, so fun, so new to me at the time. And I use sweet potatoes and very thinly sliced venison instead of, beef. And so I was creating these new ways of enjoying something that maybe was intimidating to use Asian ingredients. So creating familiar or using familiar ingredients into something that you thought I would never make Asian at home.
Mm, that sounds so good. You're making me hungry. Well, and for those that that place orders and take their first bite of a Whitney's cookie, what feeling or emotion do you hope it invokes within them?
One thing that's really special to me are food memories. And I have so many times I remember being on an airplane and there was this little packaged cookie that I was given and I opened it up and I remember tears just coming down my face because it tasted like my great grandmother's tea cake, which is these like cookies. And so when you taste my cookies, I hope it evokes this memory of maybe it is your great grandmother, your mom, an aunt, someone that may made this special thing for you. Maybe it's not even a cookie, but it's you taste my peach cobbler cookie and it's like, oh, I remember having this peach cobbler dish and just like what that just brings to your mind and the comforting, the nostalgia it brings, or maybe it creates a new food memory where you're like, oh, this cookie lives up to everything I ever wanted it to. And I can't wait to enjoy it again. Or it evokes emotion of like, I want to get in the kitchen and I want to, like, I just think it's so special for a food to do that. And food also brings people together. So you can get cookies for your friends, for your family, enjoy them together, and just see what magic happens.
Oh my goodness, Whitney. I mean, you're such an inspiration. Where can people go to place an order right now, like I'm going to do, for your cookies?
So you can go to whitneyscookies.co. That's WHITNEYSCOOKIES.co. And you are going to just have so fun trying to decide what cookies you want. One of the things I do suggest is you could also go to the custom cookie box and you can literally pick one cookie of something you want to try, two cookies, three. Like we just created this really fun way for you to be able to choose exactly what you want in your box.
Well, Whitney, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I just love this time with you.
Well, thank you, Whitney. It's been such an honor to spend this time with you and to talk about your amazing cookies, Whitney's Cookies. Make sure to visit her website at whitneyscookies.co for more information and to place your order. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You've been listening to Moments with Mary Ann, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Mary Ann is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary. A recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Mary Ann will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmaryann.com for more information.